guys, welcome back to Mate or Soulmate. So we are on chapter 2, on page 49. Let's get started. Are you hungry? Catherine looked up to find Zach standing in the doorway, his smooth, deep voice making her senses tingle, his offer of food causing her stomach to rumble. She blinked, processing his question, trying to rein her body into a somewhat neutral zone. So in her exhaustion, she didn't do something embarrassing, such as cry, or ask how often he worked out to achieve such amazing arms. Arms that looked as though he could sweep her up and carry her through any storm. She stopped burping savior, realizing she'd been absently doing so for several long minutes, trying to short herself out, while Zach had been outside, then upstairs. Zaxter hadn't been very hungry, but feeding him had given her a mini escape from having to talk to Zach, allowing herself to slowly absorb her surroundings. The security system monitor sensor in the corner with a built-in camera, the window sensors that would announce a break-in, the baseball bat sitting in the umbrella stand, which was strangely located at a hallway crossroads. Was this sleepily licking mountain town actually a hotbed of crime, or was Zach just serious about security? Oddly enough, the shop-located system didn't make her feel watched or uncomfortable, just a little safer in what could be her and Xavier's home. This was it. She was here, married. But now what? This was pretty much where her plan ended. Catherine, Zach said gently. Right. He'd asked if she was hungry. Yes, a bit, thank you. The kitchen is this way. Zach led her through an archway to a small dining area with sliding doors to a patio. To the right was the kitchen, spacious and open with lots of counter space, the kind of setup a mother of five would drool over. There was a large island workspace, a double sink beneath a big window overlooking the backyard, and plenty of cupboards as well as a pantry that could house enough food to get a small family through in a poplets. Not that she was calling them a family or into participating in a poplets. To get here, she followed every precaution, and she felt secure knowing her past had been left behind. Her whole life was right where it belonged, in her rearview mirror, and losing ground with every step forward she took. Help yourself for anything, Zach was saying. The whole house is yours. Well, I have a home office upstairs, but we can turn that into a nursery if you like. She bounced Xavier lightly, smoothing his wispy, dark hair. Overcome by emotion, calling a room a nursery made it all feel so real. What do you like to eat? Zach asked, digging through what looked like a well-stocked fridge. He turned to face her, and she struggled to appear unaffected. In our chats, he said he liked Italian. She liked a man who remembered details, and according to his reply, he liked Italian too. Excuse me. As well as playing with technical gadgets, hence the security system. I don't want to be a bother. He watched her for a second. I could make spaghetti. That's a rather large lunch. I'm sure your stomach thinks it's well past supper time. He was already opening a can of tomatoes, dumping them into a pot, then he set over low heat. In the sink, he began filling a large pot with water for the noodles. What time is it in Cyprus? She'd spent only 4 hours in Cyprus, a layover of sorts, but it was the issuing country for a fake passport, and she figured it was absurd enough that nobody would ever question her about what it was like to have lived there. Sorry guys, I'm trying to find my glasses, and I don't know where I put them. Let's continue. Don't put yourself out, I'm alright, she said, her stomach grumbling at her and proving her a liar. Zach moved the water to the stove and turned on the burner. It's nice to have someone to cook for. He glanced at Xavier, who was dozing in Catherine's arms. "Do you have more stuff coming along?" "More stuff?" she asked, dreading the question, as well as the cost of outfitting them both with everything they need as they left most of their possessions behind. A crib, toys, clothing, that sort of thing. He plucked an orange from a small fruit bowl in the middle of the island, set it squarely on a cutting board, and started drizzling slicing it into thin wedges, like half moons. Once finished, he slid the cupboard toward her and went back to tending his sauce, as well as the ground beef he had frying. "Are you a chef?" He had to practice a technique way in the kitchen. "I was a cook for a few months while I was in the army. Maybe we can borrow a few things until your stuff arrives." "I sold most of it. It was too much to manage." She trailed off, looking to the side, pretending to be interested in the African violet sitting on the counter. To her surprise, it was real. She shifted the axe higher on her shoulder so she could rub one of the leaves. "I thought these were fussy and difficult to grow." "That's what I'm told." He wiped his hands on a towel as the doorbell rang. "Help yourself to water if you're thirsty." "Glasses are in the cupboard by the fridge." He gestured faintly while heading to a narrow hallway that ran alongside the under the staircase pantry. She assumed it led around the entrance, so people didn't always have to walk through the archway and living room to reach the rest of the house. The security system chimed, indicating the front door had been opened. "I heard you could use this." Catherine risked peeking around the corner, catching a glimpse of the front entry. Beside Zach was a tall, fit-looking man carrying a white bassinet attached to a matching stand. Catherine stepped back, the timing of his arrival sending goosebumps down her arms. "Oh, hello!" The man had spotted her, his face breaking into a large smile. He set the bassinet down and stepped around it. "Welcome to Blueberry Springs." "Thank you." He kicked off his snowy boots and, moving toward her, thrust out a hand for her to shake. "I have a friend from Dover. What part of England are you from?" "I'm Catherine," she said. "I'm from Cyprus." "Cyprus? That's a trip and a half with a little one. You must have fallen pretty hard for old Zach." He grinned at the man whose cheeks had turned pink. "I thought Ginger was still playing matchmaker. I guess international online dating is the next big thing. And marriage?" Catherine nodded. She'd been surprised when the website had emailed her paperwork saying they could legally wed online, that it was some sort of loophole in the international agreements the site had found and could apply to marriages. "This is Devin Matson, Zach said, still looking embarrassed. "He's the mayor." Devin tripped in imaginary "At your service." Him being mayor didn't explain how he knew about Xavier. Zach could have mentioned she was coming, but she hadn't once mentioned her son while chatting online, as it had been too risky. While she knew that was a massive omission, nobody back home knew about Xavier, and she planned to keep it that way. She had her fingers crossed that having a baby wouldn't be a deal-breaker for Zach. So far, he hadn't said a word, which led her to tentatively assume all was good. "How did you know I have a baby?" she asked Devin. He laughed. "Welcome to the town of Blueberry Springs. Nothing stays a secret for long." Catherine felt the cold hand of a dread squeeze her stomach. "Especially not babies." The mayor headed toward the door. "I'll get out of your hair, as you must be tired from your trip. Just thought you could use a bed for your little one. How much do you want for it?" Catherine moved to the bed, mentally addressing its price. She wasn't sure how much it would be worth, with the exchange rate and differences in the value of the used goods. "When he outgrows it, just bring it back," Devin said. "We might be ready to pop out baby number 2 by that time." Something for nothing. There had to be a catch, and Catherine hated catches. She wanted to know what was owed before she accepted anything, even the temporary use of a baby bed. "I'd be more comfortable giving you something for it," she said. just babysit for us once or something. But seriously, don't worry. It's just sitting around collecting dust. We prefer someone get some use out of it. Catherine assesses the sensory in Devon's gaze, forcing herself to relax, to accept the offer. She needed the bed, didn't she? And babysitting was an acceptable exchange if he truly did accept something in return. Olivia's expecting, Zach asked. Devon grinned like he was the luckiest man on the planet. Zach grinned back and clapped on the shoulder, offering a hearty congratulations. His reaction told Catherine that he didn't mind having babies around. Not at all, and that Xavier would not be a deal breaker. As she turned back to the kitchen, so her wet eyes in tremendous relief would go, oh no, unnoticed. She thanked the heavens for the unexpected gift of Zach, a man who continued to knock her slightly off her killer and seemed almost too good.